Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Planetary Annihilation 1 vs 1 ranked ladder game livecast from myself. Today we have Clopse versus Mushroomars. I'm just going to hop straight in and get my commander in a spawn. And we're okay to go. Right, so let us go straight in and delete my commander. Boom! Okay, so it appears these two players have spawned reasonably close together. Mushroomars slightly towards the north. Just having a look at the surrounding metal sites, he does have a lot of metal here, so maybe he'll be expanding round to the east and a little bit up to the north as well, so we can probably expect to see the majority of his base here defended between these three craters as various choke points take hold. On the other hand, however, Clopse has a fair bit of metal sort of dotted around his base to the sort of south, the west and the north regions. And again, we'll probably see the base here between these three craters, maybe a little bit stretching out here and a little bit up here towards this crater here because of these few mech sites up here as well. So we'll probably see fighting along this front right about here and right about here as well between these two craters to the northeast of Clopse's base and to the southwest of Mushroomars. Both players now going for the typical Mechs Energy Mechs factory, both going for a vehicle factory straight off, right in the middle of their bases, while their commanders then continue to build up a second energy after this. Clopse is building an ant, meanwhile Mushroomars has started off with a good old fabricator. Probably to get some more mech sites in the surrounding area, trying to rush to all of these as soon as possible. Clopse's commander now going for further mechs. Probably just going to see an ant come out there for a bit of early game defense, a skitter following this to get some scouting so that Clopse can know where Mushroomars has spawned and can therefore begin to make the defensive lines in between their spawns, because these two players have spawned very close together. The distance between their bases is ridiculously small, and all it takes would maybe be a triple ant rush from Clopse to even start denting the econ of Mushroomars. But of course both of those have now gone to the south. The ant getting stuck inside a crater, so that is now an obsolete unit, unfortunately for Clopse, while the skitter is just going to go around following a few more other craters. Actually, I won't say anything, because that would be ghosting. I'll leave it to Clopse to decide whether he wants to say anything. So the skitter continues to scout around the South Pole now. Looking back up in Mushroomars' base, we'll see a second vehicle factory coming out, while further fabricators continue to be pumped out. Finally, a skitter from Mushroomars is being created, so that scout will hopefully go around and find Clopse eventually. Clopse has also got a second vehicle factory now, producing fabricators. The other one, meanwhile, is continue to produce ants, and we've got energy and mechs being built all the time from Clopse as they expand around these three craters where they spawned. The skitter from Mushroomars is going to come down and veer off west towards Clopse's base. It is going to be a very close call. In fact, this skitter is going to find the base. Mushroomars knows precisely where Clopse has spawned a long time before Clopse does know where Mushroomars has spawned, so that will give Mushroom a little bit of an advantage in terms of making that defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see a commander veering off to get some point defense up after doing a little bit of econ construction. And now the fabricator from Clopse is going round the crater to the north of his base and has actually probably done a better job of scouting than the skitter did in the first place, so that skitter was rather lazy on the job. This fabricator going to go across here might have just got some intel on this mech's point over here. But he's now going to come up and go between this crater and see all of the econ over here. So now both players know where each other have spawned. Clopse has decided to build a third vehicle factory in the wrong place, so that was immediately deleted. Twice by the look of it, in fact. Which is a little bit interesting. The tank in the crater just continuing to slide down gradually because it knows it can't really do anything. The fabricator now being chased off by a skitter inside Mushroomars' base, who is now continuing to build up these vehicle factories. Now got 4 completed. well, completed as of this second, and the third one is finally going up in Clopse base. Hopefully this one will not be deleted, along with an air factory now from Clopse, so maybe we'll see some early bumblebees getting out there nice and early as well. The skids are going to continue to chase this fabber down and see where they were trying to build a little background mechs site down there. The skitter is going to kill that fabricator before the mech site is completed, so that is going to be a rather obsolete site there. More ants now starting to form ranks towards the northeast of Clopse's base, so they'll probably want to exploit this choke point here, or maybe even veer off around and attack from the far east, taking out these priority mech sites over here. But this radar going up in the middle of Mushroomars' base will see these ants that are now starting to move in, 4 of them in fact. Hopefully one will not get stuck in the crater. But we've got also the equal number of ants from Clopse's base. One of them has been killed, another factory has been slowed down from killed, so that is going to put a little bit of a back foot on Mushroomars in terms of how fast they can get up that factory. Those 3 ants from Mushroomars take out all of Clopse's ants, and Clopse's ants, however, are beginning to reproduce, but their commander is off at the wrong end of their base. Bumblebee has been produced by Clopse and maybe wants to come in and assist in taking out these ants that are just now occupying this choke point, although he might want to veer around. And this advanced vehicle factory here from Mushroomars going up in the base is an early indicator that we'll probably have good few early levelers going out. There's a bumblebee wreaking havoc on various fabricators that are unsuspecting sitting around inside Mushroomars' base. There is very little anti-air other than the ants, so this bumblebee is probably going to continue to just take out a few of these fabricators. I would personally like to prioritise those that are actually building something so that it doesn't get built quite so rapidly. Looking at the unit composition now, Mushroomars has a fair few more ants than Clopse, although Clopse is beginning to expand around the map to various different mech sites. Mushroomars has done one of the same, but the bumblebee managed to take out the fabricator before they could continue doing that. But as I say, and the bumblebee takes out another factory, continuing to slow down Mushroomars' production. Bumblebee gets taken out, but at the cost of an earlier factory. A few ants now coming in, 7 now to the east of the base of Clopse, and they are going to see this advanced vehicle factory. They are going to take out the fabbers. They're probably going to take out the factory as well. Indeed they will on their way past, just for good measure. Just to spite Clopse and say, hey, we're in your base, killing your stuff. In fact, I think it might just about manage to survive. This is going to be interesting to see if this does survive. While one fabricator continues to produce, Ant's going to continue to move around, and it does indeed survive. However, on the meanwhile, in Mushroomars' base, their tier 2 vehicle factory is actually a lot more in terms of nearly ready, and further the air factory going up from Mushroomars as well. So we'll probably see some counters for these bumblebees at long last. Just having a look around the planet again, Clopse continuing to expand to various mechs points all around, while Mushroomars is rather localized in their base. As I say, the main part between these 3 craters, and starting to expand towards the east now with continued vehicle factories. There is a whole lot of them now. Let me just check how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 when that one is built. Vehicle factories, that is a heck of a lot of ants being produced at any one time, compared to Clopse's 5 at any one time. In fact, no, even 4, because one of those was an air factory. They now have the commander assisting their vehicle factory, so that'll get out probably a little bit faster, in fact, than Mushroomars because of that commander assist. So obviously the economy really helped there in terms of Clopse's expansion to get that up and running, and the first leveler is being produced already, completely exploiting that time difference there. Well, these ants are going to continue to take on, put pressure on these mech sites around this corner. Going to expand and attack from the northwest flank now. They have got 1 laser turret being produced, but it is not going to get finished before those ants reach it. So those ants are going to walk in nice and easily. Bumblebee's going to continue to come in, take out a few ants at a time, just weakening these attack forces over and over time. Both players now really building up their ants in this central choke point now, and we've almost got base expansion into each other's bases, incredibly close in terms of the buildings now. Hence why Mushroomars will probably want to expand up and around this northeastern crater, and maybe take some of the mech sites that are associated with that in the far east, preferably before Clopse can do much more expansion. I mean, they really have got a lot of mech sites around this planet now. Second to that, Mushroomars has moved their entire ant force to the north, maybe wanting to push around onto that flank, although we do have the laser turrets being produced now. They are going to put a little bit of a dent into Mushroomars' force, but they will be taken out, and this bomber going to continue to come in now, take out another group, but instead, no, it is going to get destroyed before it does anything. A second one coming in does manage to take out a fabricator by the look of it, that will just happen to be roaming in there, while these ants are going to push through, take out some of these mechs and these energy, and probably put a pressure on that radar as well. Meantime, the commander is having to hold off against 3 ants of Clopse within Mushroomars' base, whereas Mushroomars is bringing all of their ants round from the northwest, and their base now is completely undefended. Clopse moving their commander up to that flank to desperately try and hold off, while more ants from Clopse are going to try and move in through the central choke point, though the commander is there being healed by various fabricators. And we now have a lot of spinners now within Mushroomars' base to try and hold off against those bumblebee raids. How long that's going to work, however, before Clopse maybe is going to expand Tier 2 air, but we never know. The distance there would be viable considering hornets and needing to be destroyed before the commander snipe. But at present we see the commander desperately trying to get these mech sites back up and maybe re-establish the defensive line in terms of laser towers there. Meanwhile, Mushroomars is expanding a lot with energy towards the north. Got 6 fabricators just sat there next to an energy, not actually doing anything right there. Maybe they had a suspended build queue because of overproduction, but we'll have to see what their priorities are. Probably producing these hummingbirds to try and take out the bumblebee raids first. Although we do see them expanding towards the south in terms of these mech sites. Again, those are very exposed considering they are just outside Clopse's southeastern flank there from this base. Clopse has now got a lot of mech sites all around the other side of this planet now, and we probably wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a secondary base being produced, just in case Mushroomars' superior production of ants does actually start to take effect. Though Clopse does now have a lot more vehicle factories being produced to the southwest. Indeed, that is a further 5 from before, so he now has a total of 9 vehicle factories, all producing ants, whereas Clopse has also expanded with theirs, I do believe. Although I think one of the earlier ant raids managed to take a couple out, so I think we're all on level pegging right now. Currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 indeed, but both players do now have the tier 2 factories out, and they are producing ants and levelers. Another push from levelers, spinners and ants going to come in from Mushroomars, take out an ant and retreat while the second leveler joins, and another wave of ants is going to join those as well, starting to push now towards this group of ants from Clopse, maybe even destroying this advanced vehicle factory. Not sure whether they will get that destruction before the leveler is produced, but those spinners going to defend against any bumblebee raids on this attack force. Really good use of spinners there. Although I do believe this attack force is going to be repulsed before any damage, in fact, is done to that vehicle factory. In fact, no, that is just the bar overlays. In fact, a little bit of damage was done, but nowhere near enough. And that leveler is going to be produced, and it's going to continue to produce levelers all the while. So that is no longer a danger to Clopse. Should probably be getting some fabricators, maybe doing some wall-ins with some laser towers at this choke point to really start to defend against these ants and levelers that are going to continue to put pressure on that approach. Again, we see Mushroomars expanding down here to all of these mech sites with a group of 3 fabricators. I'm surprised they haven't been taken out. Indeed, these ants are now going to come down and raid those. Mushroomars' expansions are now going to be under threat. All of those ants are going to come down, destroy those completely. Whether they'll destroy the secondary base, we are unsure yet. It looks as though they might do, because I don't think these ants are going to get there in time. Although while that army of ants is going down to that mech sites, we do see a large group of levelers and ants now coming in on this approach to Clopse's base, really putting the pressure on. Maybe they'll want to retreat these ants back as soon as they possibly can to try and deal with this new threat. Though Clopse does have a second tier 2 vehicle factory going up, but that is not going to be done anywhere near quick enough. Levelers are just going to continue to sit here. One is stuck in another crater. That is going to get destroyed. These ants are going to walk in between these two groups, taking out the levelers before this advanced vehicle factory goes down, but it is going to go down now as these levelers are going to ants are going to continue to push in, take out the odd ant that is just roaming around inside Clopse's base. In fact, that leveler is going to get just produced in time, and these ants are now going to veer south and going to see this second advanced vehicle factory going up, and are going to deal with that accordingly. Probably going to utilise this pass and push in straight through here now. And indeed, they are going to move to the southwest. They're going to see this secondary factory, and they are going to try and take it out. Ants and levelers continuing to come down and push down on these ants, and they will not be able to take out enough stuff now before they themselves are destroyed. They are indeed destroyed, but the advantage of having a lot of factories is that you can reproduce your armies very quickly, and indeed we see some ants moving up on the eastern flank of Mushroomars. Although their commander is there, those ants are going to get completely repulsed, along with a couple of levelers I do believe I saw there dying. Good defense there by Mushroomars. Have a lot of hummingbirds just sitting around doing nothing. Maybe better used getting a patrol going around all of the base. Although I'm not sure whether at this point in the alpha the patrol will decide, no, we're going to come down into Clopse's base as well, at which point they would get shot down by all of the standing ants. And a third advanced vehicle factory now being produced to even further south in Clopse's base, just because of the advanced production that would be provided by that, and also because Mushroomars does know about these two and will probably be wanting to make those their top priority. But a lot of ants now, and a couple of levelers in there too, moving around from Clopse, and they are going to veer up north and around to the northwestern flank, which is completely undefended currently. And all of this econ field over here is going to be put in something of a dangerous situation, and a fourth advanced vehicle factory, as I say, being produced around the other side of the map, being produced in this secret base. So if Clopse's main base does go down, or even if it doesn't, these have a back route into their base, into Mushroomars' base, and can really do some surprise damage there, especially considering focus is going to be on these two choke points here between these 3 craters. So, as I say, if Clopse can keep this hidden from Mushroomars, they will have a significant surprise attack advantage there. And we did see all of those mech sites expansions from Mushroomars getting completely wiped out by that army of ants that then veered up north and did a little bit of damage there. And finally we see some defensive lines being formed from Mushroomars on their rear flank, in terms of wall-ins and laser towers. Again, this is gentleman's rules, so you may only build 1 wall per defense tower, and there will be towers queued up over there in various locations. This tier 2 leveler here just wandering in, just saying hi to all of these energy depots, generators, and actually managing to eliminate quite a few of those. Not enough to do a significant amount of damage, because there is a huge amount of energy over there, and that leveler is now going to get taken out. But now Mushroomars has been alerted to the weakness on that flank, so maybe not the wisest move from Clopse, although doing that little bit of econ damage. Got now a large group of ants and a leveler as well on the western front of Mushroomars' base. Going to move in, going to put a lot of pressure on this, but these 4 levelers in fact, are going to completely repulse this aggressive attack. And Clopse, without their defensive walls now, defensive wall-ins and lines are really starting to show cracks, because all this army would need to do now is move straight in here, and they would really start to do a lot of damage. I mean, the commander is there, yes, but only ants, and over here we've got 3 levelers. 4 in fact, if they used all of their forces, which would be ready to just completely start to go in there. And this army from Clopse is going to think, okay, so I don't want to attack over here. I see a lot of walls, and I don't want to engage with those just yet, because walls are at this point incredibly healthy. They do not go down easily at all. They take a lot of a beating. I wouldn't be surprised if in future patches walls were overpowered enough that they could withstand a nuke at the moment. At least that's what it seems. I mean, nukes at the moment only do 1 point of damage, so you could say they do withstand a nuke, at which point walls become the most powerful thing in the game, though they don't actually have any aggressive value whatsoever. We do see the other vehicle factory, advanced vehicle factory from Clopse, being produced and finished in the south of their base. The second one, though, has appears to have been abandoned. Maybe if they can get that up and running, they can really start to pump out a lot of levelers at once. Meanwhile, we have got Hornets being produced in the back of Mushroomars' base. This is really going to put a threat on Clopse's commander, who does tend to be in the open quite a bit and is not actually doing anything. No anti-air around either, other than these ants, and they are, if the Hornet gets over there, they are not going to get there in time. These levelers now just going to take out these walls from afar before moving in this group of ants, and maybe they just want to sit there and wait for the levelers to do their job and find that opening. Maybe it's time for these players to get some artillery building. I mean, the distance across this crater here would be ideal for a pelter to really start to put some pressure on either of these bases. And in both places we have advances from all over now. We have Mushroomars defending all sides of their base and being aggressive on the western side, whereas we have Clopse being aggressive on the southern eastern sides. It looks as though Mushroomars' attack over there is going to be completely negated, because the commander is sat there. He is going to try and take on those levelers, and in fact I wouldn't be surprised if he managed to do that successfully. Indeed, there he is, and Mushroomars managed to defend against Clopse's aggressive push as well. So at the moment we see this game is relatively evenly spaced at the moment. Although these Hornets are going to come in. Need 3 of them. The commander is in the open, not doing anything. Those hummingbirds come in and distract the commander just enough. He really is in a danger zone right now. He wants to get those anti-air units down there really coming in. And in fact, he is going to be a little bit too late. These Hornets are going to get the successful commander snipe by the look of it. In fact, they just need one more pass. They didn't quite make it that time. And in fact, this commander is going to go down right here, right now. There it is. Goodbye, Clopse. Well played to Mushroomars. That was a very successful commander snipe and a rather unsuccessful zooming out on my part. So there is your game, Clopse versus Mushroomars. Mushroomars managed to win with that cheeky commander snipe at the end after the stalemate was reached with those continued aggressive pushes in between those craters. This is a good strategy, because if you have someone distracted and focused on trying to do one thing, and if you have the resources in the econ to go around and do something completely different, you could win the game rather easily. And it's a shame we didn't see much of Clopse's second vehicle factory over here producing a lot of levelers and making a massive push in the back of the base. And if they did, they would have seen this advanced air factory and eliminated it. Unfortunately for them, they did not, and therefore they did lose the game. I lost the game. Apologies. So there is your 1 versus 1. Come back very soon for even more Planetary Annihilation and the conclusion of The Walking Dead at some point as well. Thanks again for watching. Do drop a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for all of that content. Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day.